The sun burned low over the dry plains as Evelyn, the farmer's daughter, stood outside the worn-down cottage. Inside, her father argued with the rancher's men, voices low but sharp. The rich cowboy, Clayton Reed, had ridden in to collect a long-overdue debt. Her father, too ill and weak, could barely speak. Evelyn stepped forward, her voice trembling. "I'll work off his debt, please, don't take our home." Clayton looked at her, a mixture of pride and poverty in her eyes. There was something in her tone that made him pause. He wasn't used to people speaking to him with both fear and fire. The men waited for his order. But instead, he turned to her and said quietly, "Come with me." That was the moment everything changed, for both of them. The next morning, Evelyn rode beside the cowboy toward his ranch. Silence hung heavy between them. Her heart ached leaving her father behind, but something about Clayton's quiet strength eased her fear. He didn't treat her like a servant. He spoke softly, offered her water, and when her horse stumbled, he dismounted and led it himself. By sunset, they reached his sprawling ranch, miles of open land, fences stretching to the horizon. The house was grand yet lonely. "You'll work here," he said simply. "You'll be safe." Safe, the word echoed in her mind as she stepped inside, unaware that her presence had already stirred whispers among his staff and something deeper in his heart. Days turned into weeks. Evelyn worked hard, cleaning, cooking, tending horses. She caught glimpses of Clayton at dawn, riding across the fields. He watched her too, quietly, from afar. The workers noticed. Some teased her, saying, "The boss never looked twice at anyone before." One evening, a storm rolled in. Evelyn rushed to close the stable doors, but the wind was too strong. Suddenly, a hand grabbed hers. It was him. They struggled together against the storm, laughing breathlessly when the doors finally slammed shut. Rain soaked them both, and for a brief second, their eyes met, silence louder than thunder. Neither spoke of it afterward, but both couldn't forget. The following week, Clayton's wealthy fiancée arrived from the city, elegant, cold, and curious about the farm girl. She mocked Evelyn openly, calling her the debt payment. Clayton's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. That night, Evelyn decided to leave. She packed her small bag, heartbreaking. Before dawn, she slipped toward the gate, and found him waiting. "Where are you going? You've already paid enough for me," she said softly. He shook his head, stepping closer. "No, Evelyn, you're not a debt, you're the only thing that's ever felt like home." Weeks later, her father recovered and came to the ranch to repay what he could. But Clayton stopped him. "There's no debt left," he said. "Only a promise I intend to keep." Evelyn stood beside him, eyes wide as Clayton reached for her hand. "Come with me," he whispered again, the same words that had changed her life once before. This time, it wasn't a command, it was a vow. The ranch hands watched as the poor farmer's daughter and the rich cowboy walked toward the rising sun, not out of debt but out of love that no gold could ever buy.